Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a new kind of video. This is something that I haven't done before. It's going to be 22 of the best sales that I got in all of 2021. Some of these are just my absolute favorites, not just because of the amount of money that they made me in the profits, but because they were so exciting to find. They are stuff that I found from yard sales, estate sales, in the bins, at the Deseret Industries, the DI is what I call it. That's what everyone calls it around here, to be honest. And some of these are just super amazing. And as usual, there's probably gonna be a little bit of background noise in the rooms behind me because the kids are exiled while I'm trying to do a video since their vacation is not over yet. So anyway, let's get into it. So I'm gonna be putting them up on the screen right here so you guys can see the items that I sold that were so freaking amazing. Item number one, and these are not in any particular order. The ones that I sold on Poshmark, I will be talking about first, then Mercari, then eBay, in order of the amount that I sold, because I sell mostly on Poshmark. Item number one is from Neiman Marcus, and it was a color block cashmere cardigan that was absolutely just so super soft. This item was from an estate sale where this lady had some amazing clothes. I got a ton of stuff from there. I went a total of twice, and this item, all of them that I got from that estate sale, ended up costing me $5 a piece. This one sold for $85, and I ended up making a profit, $63. So not too bad for a $5 investment. Item number two was a Margaret Godfrey long suede embroidered coat. It was absolutely gorgeous, stuck out at the bins. My son Wyatt was there with me, and I pulled it out of the bins and I was like, holy crap, this looks like it's brand new. I thought it was fake suede at first, and then I looked it up. I held it up like this, had him use Google Lens on my phone, and as soon as I used Google Lens, bam, it just popped up with one. And it ended up selling for me for $118, and I made a profit of $89.40. It was a little heavy, so it probably cost me around $5, but geez, for $5, yeah, I'll take it. So it ended up taking probably about 5-6 months to sell because it is a very particular kind of style, but I was super happy with it. And I think Margaret Godfrey, that specific coat, is one that sold at Saks Fifth Avenue as far as I remember. The next item is a Lilly Pulitzer Luxletic New with Tags athletic set. I got the sports bra and the leggings that matched at Uptown Cheapskate. They were in different sections and they weren't even on sale. The Uptown Cheapskate is just down the street from where I live. I bought them for $10 a piece. The set sold for $125 on Poshmark, and I ended up making a profit of $80 even. So that was super amazing, and I'm always watching for anything Lilly Pulitzer or higher end and stuff like that there, because they clearly undervalued that set and had no clue. I don't think it's one that they're used to getting. The next item, I learned about this brand from another reseller that I watch. I watch lots of resellers also because it's always a good way to learn about new brands that you're not aware of, because there's so many different brands, there's no way to know about them all. This next one is Arc'teryx. It was a soft shell mustard colored jacket, and I found it at the DI. It sold for $90, and I ended up making a profit of $67 even. I was extremely excited about that one. Okay, so the next item is a pair of men's Free Note Avila Slim Taper gray jeans. These are a higher end men's jeans brand. I got these at Uptown Cheapskate. They were on clearance because no one had bought them. They were originally marked at around $100 because they sell for around $300 retail. These I ended up selling for $125, and I made a profit of $75 because they cost me $25 on the clearance sale. So keep an eye out for free note. I do have 2 other pairs that are blue dark wash. This one was a gray, and I think I'm going to actually attempt to sell them on Grailed, which is just men's. I haven't listed anything on there before, so I guess we'll see how it goes. Next item is an Emporio Armani Black G-Line Super 130s sport coat. That was a mouthful. Anyway, I got this one out of that men's ThredUp box that I ordered months and months ago that I did. I got quite a few sport coats in there. I got a lot of dress shirts too, but most of the dress shirts were kind of crap. So it ended up selling for $75, and I made a profit of $55. The next item that I sold that got me some awesome profit was a St. John Caviar. It was a black fitted jacket blazer in that specific material that I can't remember the name of that St. John is famous for. I did get this one at the bins. I was completely shocked that it was in perfect condition. It ended up selling for $85, and I made $64 in profit off that one. The next item I also got from the bins, and this one my son Wyatt actually found. It was a Battlestar Galactica board game. Apparently this specific board game has 4 different boxes, and they're very highly collectible. The Battlestar Galactica board game that my son found, I made a big deal with him where if he found something and ended up being worth a good amount and it sold, I would give him 50% of the profits and I would take the other 50% since he finds it and I do the work. So that Battlestar Galactica board game actually ended up selling within a few weeks, sold for $95, and we ended up making a profit of $72. So that meant that he made $36 and I made $36. So I was pretty stinking happy about that, and I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye out for any more of those. The next item is a Nintendo 2DS in original box. This was an older one that I got at that estate sale where all I got was this huge box of just vintage gaming stuff. This one ended up selling for me for $65 on Poshmark, and I made a profit of $51. I didn't have to do any cleaning up or anything. It came in the original box, had all the instructions and everything. They kept it in very good condition. The person that had all of this stuff had the boxes, the manuals, everything. So the next item that sold on Poshmark for a higher price is a vintage Susan Lane 1980s Victorian lace overlay dress. This one was at an estate sale also. I looked this one up after I saw it because I just thought it was totally different, something you don't see very often, and I know some of this stuff can go for a good amount. So when I looked it up, I saw that some of them could sell for over $100, so I got super excited. Then it ended up selling within like 3 days for $115. I had listed it for I think $140 or $150, and a lady offered me $115. I was like, geez, I'm happy with that. Seriously, because I paid like I think $5 for it. So I ended up making a profit off of that sale of $87. I was just happy to get a good profit. Next item, this one was also at an estate sale. It's not a clothing item, but I am kind of dabbling in some other stuff recently. This, I had seen on some other channels how you can sell like vintage toasters for like high amounts. And so I was kind of on the lookout when I went to this one, all the different kitchen items. I had seen that she had Pyrex in her kitchen that wasn't for sale because this lady was downsizing and she had a huge amount of land and a big house. So she had a whole bunch of stuff out on the lawn, and you'll see some of that in one of my older estate sale videos. I actually did some filming while I was there. I asked her, hey, how much do you want for this toaster? She's like, oh, it works great. I just don't need it anymore. And she said $1. Just like that, $1. I was like, okay. And the funny thing is I had already looked it up and I knew it was gonna be worth a good amount. And I wasn't able to test it there, but she said it worked and I trusted her. She seemed like a great lady. And so I took it home, shined it up and everything, and it ended up being one of those toasters that's like, if you ever seen that Brave Little Toaster cartoon movie, the animated movie from like, what, the 80s, 90s, something like that, where the little boy makes the face in the toaster and then the toast pops. It was really funny because my little guy actually made faces in the toaster because it was like a mirror finish. It was super awesome. So this one I got for $1. It sold for $155 on Poshmark. So I made a profit of $123 off of that $1 that I paid for that toaster. So you dang right, I'm gonna be watching for vintage toasters from now on. So the next one, also from an estate sale, just a different one. This one was a pair of Red Wing men's brown leather high ankle boots. These were lace up ones, or kind of like work boots. I got 2 different pairs. The second pair has not sold as of yet. This one, I believe I paid $5 or $8 for it. Anyway, they sold for $157. Red Wing boots are not cheap, y'all. And I ended up making a profit of $120.60. So that was a awesome find. The next item is a pair of women's Timberland 14-inch waterproof boots. They look like the men's like tan Timberland boots, but they went like up this high. And so they were super cool. I was very excited about those because I don't think they were ever even worn. And they were just, I found them at the DI. They were just on the shelf and no one had grabbed them yet. I was completely shocked. They were only $10. So they ended up selling for $123, and after all of the fees and cost of goods, I ended up making $88.40 on that pair of boots. So I was super jazzed about that one. The next item that's one of my higher end items for 2021 is another vintage gaming piece. This was an original Game Boy handheld game system in the box with the instructions and everything. It did have some wear to it, some little stuff kind of on the screen. You can tell it was well loved, but it was still working, and we even tested it out and my boys were like, why is it just green and black? I was like, this is how game systems used to be. They're like, that's so boring. So anyway, that ended up selling for $65 and I made a profit of $50 even. So I was super excited about that. Glad that somebody was able to appreciate it a lot more than my boys. Next item is one that I found at the bins. These were a pair of women's fry boots. They were dark brown and they were kind of halfway up the calf, and they were super cute. I was so excited. You know, I'm always excited to find anything that says fry on it. These ended up selling for $60 and I made a profit of $45.50. So that was a great find. We have one more item that sold on Poshmark that was a higher end item. This one is a brand that I've never found before, just recently. And this was a very recent sale and a very recent find. It sold in about 2 weeks. It was a Rebecca Taylor Mallory embroidery and taffeta top. New without tags. You could tell it had never been worn, but it didn't have any tags on it. It was really cool. I saw it on the end of like a display, just kind of hanging there, and I was like, that looks really, really different. And that's what you always want to look for. This one ended up selling for $60. I believe it retailed for a little over $200. And I ended up making a profit of $44 even after all of the costs. Next items. I have 3 items that sold for $50 or more on Mercari. These were bigger items, bigger ticket items. The first item, which I actually shipped out just recently, was that Rock Band 4 PlayStation 4 drum set. And it didn't have the drumsticks, no pedal, no chords, none of that stuff. But I tried to sell it on Facebook Marketplace first and it just didn't work. I ended up selling it for $75, and I haven't gotten the profit yet because it's still in transit, but it looks like I should end up making a profit of $55.02. So hoping that'll get to him. It said that it was delayed. This one went through FedEx, which is not something I normally ship through, and it was a pain in the butt to package, guys. That's why I love doing clothing and shoes, because it's so much more simple. I don't have to have giant boxes and try and like finagle them. Yeah, anyway, super happy that that piece is gone. It was bulky. Next item, second item that I sold on Mercari that was higher end was an amazing find. I got at a yard sale. I think I paid $5 for it, or maybe $10, but it was a King Ranch leather saddle style bag. It didn't have a specific name that I could find because it was very rare, but I listed it and it ended up selling for $169, and I made a profit of $147 off of that. I was so excited because if you've ever seen some Ford trucks, it'll say King Ranch Edition on the back, or King Ranch, and it has like a wavy kind of W. That is their symbol for the ranch. It's an actual ranch in Texas. It's the biggest ranch, I believe, in the US. And they even have, because they purchased a certain amount of Ford trucks, Ford decided to make that version of the Ford truck the King Ranch Edition. And so if you look up King Ranch in Texas, you can find all sorts of information. They sell a lot of different stuff. This was like super high quality leather bag. It was not light at all. And so it did have the higher amount for shipping. Keep an eye out for that with the little W, the squiggly W. That's King Ranch, and you always want to pick that up if you can, if it's a lower price and it's worth it. The last item that I sold on Mercari in 2021 that was a higher end piece. This was a pair of boots that I got from a ThredUp rescue box. I think it was one of my first ones that I got, and most of the box was kind of okay till I got to the bottom. And then there was these Jeffrey Campbell Free People collab, and they're called Joe Lace boots. They were black. They go over the knee. They were in amazing condition. They've probably only been worn maybe a couple of times, and they ended up selling for $165, and I made a profit of $145.30. I was super excited about that. Made me so happy, especially since that more than paid for the entire box that I got. So anything else that I made after that wasn't a big deal. Okay, the very last item that I sold that was a higher end item, and it has the highest profit out of everything for the entire year. This one was another piece from that estate sale where I got the vintage gaming stuff. And this was the first time I'd ever gotten any sort of gaming stuff or picked up anything like that. They didn't have any clothing or anything. I just went to that estate sale mainly for the vintage gaming. I got there right when they opened. I found some amazing stuff. I made hundreds of dollars off of this one box that cost me 35 bucks. Two of them you've already heard me talk about in this video. This other item I sold on eBay. This was the high-end item on eBay. Everything else was kind of lower end. It was a vintage Sega Genesis CD game, and it's called Lunar. If you find anything that's a vintage game, you definitely want to look it up. I made sure that this was unscratched, tested. It had the box, it had the instructions, it had the booklet, it had everything. The only damage there was a tiny bit of like a crack or something like that on the case, but it still ended up selling within like a couple of weeks on eBay for $255. And I ended up making a profit of $209.85. Pretty insane. So I will always be keeping an eye out for that kind of stuff. Any thrift store that I go to, I always make sure that I stop by the gaming stuff to see if there's anything that kind of sticks out and that I can make some money off of, because this item I paid less than $1 for. And the items that I was gonna make a little bit less money on, I ended up having my husband take them in a big box to the gaming store, and he sold them and ended up getting a vintage GameCube, which is exactly the same one that we had when we were first married. And now we're trying to find a game that we used to play and compete with when we were first married also, so that we can have fun, because that's pretty much the last game that I played on a system that I actually liked. Because I'm not a gaming person unless you include like Candy Crush and stuff like that on my phone when I need to like chill for a few minutes. If you guys like these kinds of videos and you got some value out of this, go ahead and hit the thumbs up for me. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that bell notification so you can see all of the new videos I'm going to be coming out with. Don't forget to comment on your favorite item that you guys saw in this, and if you have any tips or tricks for me, go ahead and leave them down below. I will talk to y'all in my next video. Love you guys. Bye.